Dobar dan, dragi učenici. Ovo je video lekcija iz engleskog jezika za učenike srednjih škola koja se bavi načinom na koji poznati online alati prevode idiome i fraze. Nakon ove lekcije znat ćete uspješnije upotrebljavati jezične alate na internetu, a naučit ćete i nekoliko zgodnih idioma. Za današnju lekciju potrebne su vam olovka i bilježnica, kao i mobitel ili računalo s pristupom internetu. I know for a fact that you do use language tools on the internet. The question is just whether you use the right ones and whether you use them correctly. Which of these tools do you use the most? Online dictionaries, Grammarly, or Google Translate? The last one often gets you into trouble, doesn't it? Don't you sometimes wish you had a key like this, which would translate everything into English? What do you mean all the time? Google Translate again. Well, let's give Google Translate a little test. Pause the lesson, please, and read a short story about Rick and Morty. Are you confused about some of the expressions? Couch potato, thick as thieves, bull in a china shop, rain cats and dogs. Let's use the magic button and translate the story into Croatian. It must make more sense in our native language. Pause the lesson, please, again, and read the Croatian version. Still confused? Even more confused? I think Google Translate failed the test. The first expression we had in the story was couch potato. Google Translate says couch krumpir. We all know that this doesn't mean anything in Croatian. What it actually means in English is the following. Couch potato is a person who watches a lot of television and does not have an active life. For example, James is a real couch potato and doesn't like to participate in any activity that makes him tired or sweaty. Sport is important. We do not want a nation of couch potatoes. The next expression was to have your ducks in a row. Again, it doesn't involve any ducks, and what it means is the following. To have your ducks in a row means to be well prepared or well organized for something that is going to happen. For example, they had their ducks in a row beforehand, so they were ready to start the job right away. So they prepared well and in time. We have an event planned and possibly a dance, but we have to have all our ducks in a row first. So before going out with any information, they want to make sure that everything is well planned and prepared. To rain cats and dogs is an interesting expression that would be very difficult to imagine in real life. As you may already guess, it doesn't involve any cats or any dogs. To rain cats and dogs means to rain very heavily. For example, don't forget to take your umbrella. It's raining cats and dogs out there. Or, it's raining cats and dogs and I'm worried about how my kids will get home. Parents always worry about their kids getting wet. I'm sure a little rain won't hurt them, will it? The next expression was as thick as thieves. I don't imagine any thieves being either thick or fat, but this is exactly what Google Translate told us. What the expression really means, and please note that you can either use it with or without the first as. So it can be as thick as thieves, or it can just be thick as thieves. It means to be very close friends and share secrets. For example, I'm sure she tells Diane everything we say. They're as thick as thieves, those two. Or, they were thick as thieves for weeks, which made us wonder what they were doing. So you have two people here who were obviously making some secret plans, and everybody noticed, and that's why they called them thick as thieves. The next expression was an elephant in the room. And again, you can imagine how difficult it would be to put a real elephant in a real room. But this is exactly what Google Translate says. Slon u sobi. What the expression elephant in the room really means is an obvious problem or a difficult situation that people do not want to talk about. For example, it was an elephant in the room which they simply chose to ignore. Would you like to talk about the elephant in the room? Tell us what happened. So in both cases, something is going on and everybody is aware that something is going on, but nobody knows what exactly. And nobody wants to talk about it. So they all just pretend as if nothing were happening, but it obviously is. To pull someone's leg doesn't involve any pulling, it doesn't involve any legs or any physical contact. To pull someone's leg means to tell someone something that is not true as a way of joking with the person, which means you're only kidding. For example, stop pulling my leg. You didn't have lunch with Tom Cruise. Or, I panicked when he said the test was tomorrow, but then I realized he was just pulling my leg. I think you should never do this. Never tell a student that there's a test tomorrow if there isn't. The next expression was to have a bone to pick with someone. This dog doesn't look unhappy. He looks quite satisfied with his bone, and it would be difficult to guess that actually this expression has a negative meaning. So to have a bone to pick with someone means to want to talk to someone about something annoying that they have done. For example, I have a bone to pick with you. You've been using my shampoo again. Or, I have a bone to pick with you, Will. I heard how you criticized me at the meeting last night. So you know that somebody did something wrong and you want to talk to them seriously about what happened because this may even have hurt you. To kick the bucket is a very interesting expression, and you can see here that Google Translate actually did offer us to translate kick the bucket as an expression, but it did not do so in our story. To kick the bucket means to die. For example, I almost kicked the bucket yesterday. I must be more careful when I'm climbing. Or, I think my sewing machine has kicked the bucket, so it doesn't work anymore. If you're interested in the origin of this expression, look it up on the internet, and I'm sure that you will find many interesting versions about the expression kick the bucket. A bull in a china shop is an expression that is quite clear. If you imagine what a bull in a china shop would be like, I'm sure you imagine something like this. I'm also sure that you have heard of the Mythbusters, and they have actually tested this expression, so take a quick look. You have the link here. Please go to YouTube and watch their video where they tested the expression bull in a china shop. Not much happened. Are you surprised? A bull in a china shop is a person who breaks things or who often makes mistakes or causes damage in situations that require careful thinking or behavior. For example, we told her it was a delicate situation, but she went into the meeting like a bull in a china shop. Or, the nursery teacher said he was like a bull in a china shop. So not a very careful young boy. Every language has its own phrases and expressions, and even though they can sometimes match, they usually don't. Do you know the Croatian expression for bull in a china shop? Yes, exactly. Slon u staklani. Try translating that with Google Translate. Yes, now. I bet you didn't get bull in a china shop. Conveniently, we end with this expression. Elvis has left the building. When someone says Elvis has left the building, it means that something has ended or that the show is over. For example, I'm sorry, Mr. Jones, you are late. Elvis has left the building. Why has Elvis left the building so soon? The show was supposed to end at 11 p.m. So the show ended earlier than planned. Now let's check if you have remembered some of our idioms correctly. Choose the right answer. Which expression do we use to say that it is raining heavily? The correct answer is of course B. It's raining cats and dogs. What do we call someone who is very careless and often breaks things? Exactly, a bull in a china shop, which is answer C. What do we say to someone who has done something wrong or someone who we have to have a serious talk with? Exactly. I have a bone to pick with you, which is answer A. Which expression do we use to describe that two people are very close? The correct one, of course, is they're as thick as thieves, which is answer C. Now that we have gone through all of the idioms, please pause the lesson, copy these 10 sentences into your notebook, and complete them with the correct form of the idioms. Here's what you should have written, and I'm sure you have. Please correct any possible mistakes. My brother came to dinner with a black eye. He didn't want to tell us what happened, so there was an elephant in the room. Stop pulling my leg. I know there isn't a Hollywood director calling me right now. I think it's not a good idea to go for a bike ride now. It's raining cats and dogs. Joe and Eric have known each other since the age of 10. They're as thick as thieves. We kept waiting for the band to come back on stage, but it looked like Elvis had left the building. My son can be a bit of a bull in a china shop, so I'm worried about taking him to the museum. Lisa wants to date a man who loves to travel, not a couch potato who watches television all day. We need to have our ducks in a row to ensure that there are no problems at home while we're on our trip. Hey, I have a bone to pick with you. Why didn't you put gas in my car after you borrowed it? Any plant under my care kicks the bucket in about a week. I think you have seen enough to be very careful next time. If you're trying to find the meaning of an expression or individual words, please use internet dictionaries and not translation tools. In a dictionary, you get much more information about a word or an expression, which will help you use it correctly. They also provide examples. You can't go wrong with any of the dictionaries you see here, and they are all completely free. For your homework, you can think of a fun ending for our story and write it down. Thank you very much, and goodbye.